So I am blessed because a friend of this show is Mary Flynn O'Neill, and she is doing God's work, just like General Flynn, and we'll get an update on him. But Mary Flynn O'Neill is the executive director and finance manager of America's Future Incorporated, guiding the nonprofit organization's administration, operations, finances, and educational programming to fulfill its mission to preserve American values and ideals, protect the nation's constitutional republic, promote strong American families, revitalize the role of faith in our society, and advance the virtues of free market capitalism. Mary, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. I actually have a team now. So I was really, my brother asked me to take this organization on. And I was doing, when you start an organization, although it's an 80-year-old organization, it was dormant for 20 years. So I had not much of a team. So it's great to, I did everything in the beginning, and now I have a little help with some good people. So
I'm very happy to hear that, because you're very busy and you can't do it by yourself. And frankly, this work can be exhausting, Mary. It's sad in some cases, finding out what's happening, these predators, what's happening to young people and how they infiltrate our society. I would love for you to just give us like an overview of the work that you've been involved in.
Sure. We started in 2023, fall of 2023. After so I took over this organization. My brother asked me to come and run this organization. Remember, I was working in the Catholic Church, and I found I was brought in because money was being stolen, and I was put into an audit right away, and then one thing led to another, where I really became a whistleblower on the Catholic charity and the collection and the COVID time period. So I was the Lord really does this with me in my life, puts me into a situation where it's a very important situation where money is discovered, and that's what I do. I'm a money tracker. I really am. Awesome. It's important to treat people's money with respect, especially nonprofits. I've been in this business over 40 years, and mostly nonprofit work. And one of the things that people do, and that's what you're seeing with all these NGOs and the Doge, looking into all this and finding all this nefarious activity. And of course, the Catholic Charities, the Lutheran Social Services, and the Jewish Foundation were named in a grand jury down here in Florida that I testified in. To be, taking governmental money and trafficking children. So that's all factual. That's all there. Onward we go to expose people. Back to my comment about using others' money with respect and being respectful of other people's money, especially as a nonprofit. And people lose the mission. They lose sight of the mission. One of the things that I do when I come in to do an audit, or I go to evaluate an organization, because I've done that many times too, for maybe the bosses or the executive committee or the board, is ask, what is your mission? And I literally ask the janitor to the executive director, what's your mission? And that's all I want, is the plain and simple couple of sentences that they have written down as their mission. So, and they can't answer. A lot of them can't answer this question. That's a flag for me. So that's a way I understand how an organization is in trouble or is in good shape. So back to America's Future. One of the things, we were dormant for 20 years. We're 80 years old this coming year. And we were dormant for about 20 years. Phyllis Schlafly, a great conservative patriot woman fighting for constitutional rights and so forth, had this organization. She was using it as a publishing clearinghouse, kind of publishing her books, which are very educational. So I needed to find a way to use the money, the people's money, to do the good work, and that was in the court system, the jurisdiction, the the judicial branch. Sorry, I'm
It's a
mouthful.
tongue twister. Yeah.
I've been talking all morning. So that's what I decided to do. And because of all these unconstitutional, cases that were happening, like the statues being brought down and First Amendment under attack, Second Amendment under attack, I decided that's where we need to do. So we have formed this great legal team. We have probably close to 40 cases in the Supreme Court and a couple of other Supreme Courts, fighting them first for our rights, First Amendment, helping the Trump administration because he's under attack with many lawsuits. They're filing, the left is filing lawsuit after lawsuit, trying to stop and block the separation of power. Many of these are separation of powers. They have no right to block what he's doing, or even, but they have a right to fight it. So they're doing that. And we're going to stand strong for this administration because he is America first. He is what the people mandated. They voted him in. They gave him the Congress, and he is doing what the people want. So we need to back him wholeheartedly. And that's one piece of what America's future does.
Wow.
But this very important initiative, Project Defend and Protect Our Children, Get in the Fight, is a team of really, really expert, well-trained people that have been doing this stuff, rescuing children, fight journalists like Liz Krogan, who's been investigating, oh my gosh, her investigation stuff that's going on right now with the Diddy and the music and the Hollywood industry and all this mess going on. Laura-Lynn, who's seen trafficking all over the world, has probably done more combat than most guys in the military. She, as a journalist, a combat journalist, and so we have a film producer, Mike Smith, out of shadow into the light, on our board. We have Boz and Tina Boz. That's their last name, Basil Boz. He is a guy who started rescuing children in '93. So we have an expert team, and what we did was we decided to take local action, General Flynn's local action, national impact, and go around and get into the churches and help train and educate the people in the churches on how to protect their children and their families from this really, really severe, sick, evil, epidemic situation going on with children. And we saw more of this with the border. Okay, the border brought in another supply of children. When the supply is getting low in this nation, which it was in 2020, through our foster care system, over 400 children going missing from our foster care. Biden administration needed another supply. This is a $250 billion business, and this is big money for cartel and all kinds of nefarious people involved in this. And I can't say enough about what's going on in this country and North America and down in the Latino countries. That there are 4 generations of pedophiles we are facing. They are everywhere. They're in the churches. They are people you think you don't know. There's a way to protect your kids, and that's what we're doing, Laura. That's what we're doing. We're gonna.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I heard I heard the president say something like someone was asking him, like, where's all the kids, like 300,000 kids or something like that.
That's right.
And he's like, I think they're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be the actual truth, is that a lot of kids that have come in, Biden had just no stop gates, no things in place to make sure the kids were safe, and they literally disappeared. And I heard that, and I just felt sick. And even the president's face, it was like, he wasn't in charge then, Thank God for what you're doing. And I hear that that General Flynn has had a new position as well.
Yeah. Well, one of the great things that we did was we started a whistleblower program. So Tara Rodez, who did a tremendous job, who uncovered she works for the OIG. She uncovered the Pomona area where kids were being brought in under the Biden administration, and she discovered that they were being taken out of the database system, and then but in the meantime, they were moved around the country, and then they lost track of them. And then they were, on the other hand, you have Aaron Stevenson, who was on the other end of this, who discovered the pattern of these sponsors with no vetting. So they stopped DNA and they stopped vetting, and they allowed cartel, bad terrorists, bad criminals take children as sponsors. So, yes, I mean, a child's lifespan, if they are being, abused and raped 10 times for money a day or whatever, their lifespan is about 2 years. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, they don't survive unless there's a doctor that's helping them fix them, get them back working. This is a whole network of people that are involved in making money off of children. And we also saw during COVID that more women, mothers, were selling their children into pornography. And that's a big thing. I just got a case from a friend who's the foster care mother identified the 3 children that they had been taken care of. And she discovered that the children, through the children telling her that they were being trafficked, and they were being sold for pornography and sold off to certain people in networks, and law enforcement, judges, people you don't think are, pastors, ministers, whatever, people you don't think. These networks are there and they exist. And, these are very sad, situations. And yeah, I mean, President Trump is, you missing 300,000 children. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are not surviving. It's very, very sad.
It's
There are
tragic. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there are satanic sacrificing going on. There's a lot of that, So it's a menu. Sadly, this is a menu, and this is a very evil spiritual warfare we're in, and we can't stop fighting for these children. We
Yeah.
can't. Even the unborn. Okay,
Amen.
because they want those. They want the unborn too. So.
Yesterday we were looking at predators in pews and pulpits, and before we got started today, and then the porn factor, like how much pornography is now feeding the sick minds, because once you get into like this, pornography is like this heroin in your body, and then you have to have worse and worse sick things, and so it's led to an epidemic of sick people. And
that's right.
they come. You were talking about how predators literally look for places where children are, and sometimes that's churches.
That's right. So there's also a kind of an interesting thing that happens when a sexual offender, has this, this registration of a sexual offender. There's loopholes that, in local communities. That's why it's so important to. That we're doing the work we're doing with these summits, because we identify a lot of loopholes and things that people can do in their communities. But a loophole goes like this. When somebody is on the register, the sexual offender register, they can't be around, schools. They identify state, federal buildings, okay. But the loophole is, and this happened to a very good friend of mine with her son. He hurt a teacher. He worked in a mall, and in the mall, the store that he worked in was right next door to the, like the playground where the kids can go, and the arcades in the malls. So that's a loophole. So they don't have to stay away from those places, but they have to stay away from schools and other things. So you know what I'm saying. So in reality, what what good does it do for these people to be, they can't control themselves, and they have no business being around any place where there is a child. Now, churches are another thing. There are that's why it's important for pastors to understand who is on the sexual offender, who is a sexual predator, who is a pedophile, who is, what kind of background people have when they, are around their people. So because these people can go into churches and they prey on the children, and they do many times. They hide in the churches. So these are loopholes people need to understand, and there's behaviors that they need to be able to identify, and that's what we do. So we really, really give the local, the people, the grassroots, some real strong tools by some really, really good people who stay very up to date. Criminals are constantly trying to find out what law enforcement is doing so they can beat them, so they can win the game, right? This is what they do. So they want to know, like, what's the law enforcement doing? What kind of technology do they have? They are right now about 5 years ahead of law enforcement, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't been told different, but law enforcement, they don't train properly for this stuff either. So.
Wow. What can we do, like, globally? I mean, here in Canada as well. I don't know if we have these kinds of systems, and we need them, Mary.
Yeah, no, globally. So this leads to I mean, it was, America is one of these, unfortunately, and that's why I also am trying to go around and bring God. We've got to bring God back into our nation, our Constitution, our founding fathers. It's the center of our nation, and they've really tried to rip God out of this country. And Canada has, that situation going on. I have some great friends that have been persecuted in Canada that stay in touch with me, and I have a woman who's trying to fight for her children and so forth. So I am very close to some very good people up there in Canada, and just like we just went through with this Biden, we just went through a very tough time, and the people came through. The people want accountability. They voted for accountability. And even though there's cheating going on, election cheating is rampant everywhere all over the world. So, we just have this chance right now, and Canada needs that chance too. The people, they have to fight for their rights and their children. Otherwise, communism will come. And Trump is watching very carefully. He is very aware of helping, other countries to have what we have. Now, I will say this, because my brother is a general, and I have another brother who's a general. He's just retired. He's a 4-star general. And my military family, that we've been in wars that we never should have been in wars. The wars we've been in, we have been doing the wrong thing as a nation, as a country. We should have been helping and spreading our freedom and our beautiful country principles and what we stand for, instead of being in these wars. And I think now is the chance for us to, through the children, because one of the intel pieces that we did learn was that when it was kind of secure that Trump was going to win this time, we had intel that was saying that the children were being moved out of this country. Now, mind you, the children are money to these criminals. So there is, intel that says that, they're moving children back out, which they used to. So 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they didn't have to do that anymore. A person didn't have to go outside this country and rape a child. They could do it right here. That's why we're the biggest buyers and sellers of this stuff. And so now we have this, Trump coming in. They're all afraid they're going to take care of their commodity. And I hate to sound like that, but I'm just talking in reality. So now we have this situation where, okay, maybe these children are being brought out of this country into other areas. So it is very important that we have good ambassadors. We have good people running nations who stand together against this stuff. children are being manipulated and used and abused all over this world, and it is up to us. I feel that it is up to this country to help other countries learn about this stuff and help them stop this stuff. This dark web drives me crazy. I don't understand why we're not shutting this down. It's criminal. It's just, the pornography, the internet, the AI is extremely dangerous to families. This information should be everywhere,
I
and
agree.
everywhere.
And sometimes, like in Canada, I've had more and more complaints coming to me regarding the Ministry of Children and Families. So this is the government
Oh,
entity that is
yes.
actually harming kids and has a little network running within it.
Yes, it does. I mean, it was happening before the children were being brought in to the country during Biden's. It was very rampant in our country. It's rampant in your country. That's why my two friends with the children, these moms, they're going through really hell. They're going through a hard time fighting for their children, and it has to. It really started. It gave them ample time with this vaccine, this COVID vaccine thing, where the mandate came down. Everybody's got to get the vaccine. Well, there's moms that don't want to give vaccines. I mean, it's their right. Where's the parental rights?
Yes.
That is very important that we fight for
Oh,
too. You
just
know.
horrible what we've been through.
Oh, I
The
know.
attacks on parental rights, and so you're in a fight. You've taken on a giant. You're David against Goliath, and I really love that, Mary. Are we winning? Do you think with President Trump coming in? I mean, as you say, they are nonstop fighting him, but he does seem to have a mandate and a
Oh
heart for
yeah.
children.
Oh yeah. We're going to win this. There's no doubt. My faith and my relationship with my God and Jesus and my faith is very strong, and I believe that we will conquer this. But we do have to do our duty, do our job, stay close to the Lord. He is watching. He knows everybody's hearts. He knows who's fighting the real fight, the truth. Children are very, very important. This is his greatest gift to us, our children. And, we cannot cross the Lord. We cannot cross him. Jesus it pierces his heart. We've offended him. And so, that's where I come from. I'm in this because I don't want to offend the Lord anymore. I want to stop what we've done, or at least, you know, ask his forgiveness and do my part. And we all need to do that. We all need to do that.
Amen. Um, Tell me a little bit before I let you go today. Thank you so much for your time and for what you do. It's just the core of my being and my heart right now. I'm facing some things, in my work that I do that is causing me great grief at what's happening. And it gives me hope that what you're actually saying is, you bet, with the Lord, with his help
Yeah.
and with some good strategies, we can win this. And so I
Oh yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
But we're watching all kinds of mayhem. I've been watching these Tesla places blown up, and
Oh
I am. This is off topic a little bit, but Elon
no.
Musk has come in like the big vacuum cleaner of waste, and they
Yeah.
are madder than a hatter, And
Yeah.
I
They
hope they
are.
start putting some of these people in jail.
Yeah. Well, I know that's right, and that's the other thing. You know, what people need to be people need to be patient too, because these guys, they didn't get to go look at this stuff in 2016. It's one of the reasons they had to take my brother General Flynn out, because he was going to go after the auditing of the Intel world and the CIA and all these kinds of things. You see things happening now where files and things are coming out, and people should see these things. And Doge is uncovering layers and layers and layers of money being uh, you know just given to really bad players and then people making money. It goes deep. So, good enough for a guy like Elon. He is, I think, has proven, to be a very, noble guy that wants his children. He's got a lot of children too. I mean, people, I find that's why I always admired President Trump, because he has a good relationship. His children love him. And it's such a breath of fresh air to see men, taking care of their children and being in a relationship with their children. And I just, that to me is important. Because of my own father and my mother. My father was a great man, a great relationship with him and all of us. But, just knowing that they are digging and people are speaking up and they're not letting go. They're still asking for accountability, and they're going to. My brother is one that is saying, but people need to be arrested, and they do, and I believe it's coming.
Right.
I do.
That's wonderful. And your brother recently appointed to a significant position with West Point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, no, it's a big deal. That's the leadership. I mean, he's amazing, military mind. And that is the leadership of our military, of our Army. He was not West Point, but he was a general, and I have another brother who I talk about who is a general. So these leaders of our military are extremely important to our country and to the world. So I'm very proud of him for taking that position. I know President Trump has asked him to do a few things, and Michael wants to serve him any way he can and will continue to serve the president. They are great friends, and Michael loves them.
It's wonderful. And to see, Pete Hegseth in there, and I mean, the left just losing their ever-loving minds about Trump's appointments. I think it's been so fun to watch,
It has. It's entertaining, isn't it? It really is.
It is. And I think they're going to get that border clear. And I saw a picture the other day of, one of these illegal migrants giving, the finger to a police officer. And the next shot is they're all bent over, they're handcuffed, and they're going home, And I was like, yay, like justice in the world. This is kind of an incredible season, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they've been, we've been a laughing stock the way that this last administration and decades prior to this. I mean, they've been, Americans shouldn't be, embarrassed like we are. There's many of us that are very embarrassed by some of the activities that some people have been, been characters acting like, they just don't like them. They just don't like America. I believe that, there's so many communists in this country too. And that's what this organization was doing. It was trying to warn about communist infiltration and look, 80 years now they're trying to pull the plug on CCP, buying up farmland in this country. Who let that happen? I mean, that's ridiculous.
And really close to military bases. I mean, what sense does it make? I remember Hannity going off on this like 2 years ago. They can see everything we're doing. Who's thinking here, I
know. It's insane. I just really believe that we have a lot of people that don't, and they show their true colors. They don't like our founding principles, our country. They don't like, America. It's very sad. It's very sad.
When they sent that balloon over, like just slowly going over everywhere, taking pictures of everything, like, it boggles the mind what we actually had to endure through the nap time presidency of Biden.
Yeah, well, it looks like, so many people have been owned and, favors are being, given to China because a lot of money. And by the way, it's both sides. It's Republicans and Democrats. It's not just, one party. I mean, one party is did
money
the Democrat
corrupts.
Party.
That's what we're seeing. Mega ministries get corrupted. Mega, when you've got a lot of money in the political realms and, in any business, that's what happens. And then they have the power, the knowledge to kind of hide stuff. And I'm very disturbed by the church, actually, and their corruption.
Yes.
I mean, of all the systems going. We should have churches that function well under God's laws, and they should not be the
No,
deceivers, but they are.
no, no.
Yeah.
And the one thing you can remember, and you can, and it's a deciding factor for me and for others when I'm asked about that, because I know a lot about the corruption in the church, is to ask whether that church has taken any money from the government. And if they have, then they are compromised. Period. That's it. You
100%.
can't. A church does not ever want to take money from the government. They own you.
Yes, I agree. And so much money happened, during the last 5 years, the fiasco there.
Yeah, it's a good
Mary,
tip.
where can people follow you and get the information that you're putting out?
Sure. Sure. We are at americasfuture.net. I have a great friend up there who's running an organization trying to help stop trafficking in the strip joints up there and all
Wow.
those kinds of things. So I've got some great organizations up there. Yeah.
Say it again. Americasfuture.net.
Americasfuture.net.
Okay, very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
All right. Bless your heart, Mary. You are a doll. Please give our love to General Flynn. We'd love to
I
have him on the show again, but we just thank God. He's probably way too busy for us for the next few years, but we just thank God for your family. The legacy of the Flynn family is just huge in
Thank you
what
so
you're
much.
doing for all of us. So God bless
I'll
you.
never stop fighting with you. Thank you. God bless you too.